Yay! Okay. But you know what? Even for me, this is a little bit high.
Well, better to adjust
No,
the
you know what?
second
Look
post
at-
down than the top
Look
one,
at
Kathy.
guys, microphone mouth, mouth
Yes.
microphone.
That's
No
right.
hands.
Right.
That's good.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. We have got a fabulous program today. We've got a lot of stuff going on, and it's exciting stuff. But first, I have a couple of announcements before I introduce Susan. Deborah. Okay, Deborah is here, and we are getting short on people signing up for treats. So, what I'd like to do is have Deborah pass the sign-up sheet around, and don't be shy, you know? Pen to paper, phew, you're done, okay? Because we're getting a little shy on that. I appreciate that, thank you. Another thing is if you could silence your cell phones. Oh, look at that, everybody's going to that. Good job, Carolyn. Good job, Carolyn. Another announcement, I'm trying to take care of housekeeping here. Matt Harling, did I pronounce that right? Yay, okay. Matt Harling is going to be bringing us up to date on the studio tour a little bit later. But in the meantime, Matt has got a stack of studio tour applications that if you are interested and want one, please see Matt at some time, maybe during the break, okay? Okay, with that, I would like to introduce Susan Cooper. Did I pronounce that right?
You did.
Good. Okay. Susan is an artist, an extraordinaire. She's got her degree in art history from the West Virginia University. I'm not going to say what year because really I don't know.
And we don't tell.
It was before she got to California. And she is going to demonstrate creating art on an iPad, which sounds fabulous, I think. That's in the digital world, and I know that Linnell has just already jumped on that.
I have all the art supplies I need for that, along with several other pursuits.
Okay. Susan was an elementary school teacher and taught K through sixth grade. Art. She was an art teacher and she taught the little kids. That's kind of near and dear to our heart with Donna and Tony.
Tony just walked in.
Oh, Tony, okay. Just for the record, Donna and Tony are teaching an art class once a month at an elementary school. Yes, and we support that wholly and thank them for that. As a professional artist, Susan was pen and ink with watercolor wash. And I thought that was pretty cool because I don't, as a sculptor, I don't.
I did, really.
Hold on. That's okay, Sherry, we'll wait.
If the peacock would stop screaming.
Put him on speaker, Sherry, so we can all hear.
I did.
Okay, with that, Susan's going to give a little bit more detail of her background, but let's give a round of applause for Susan Cooper. Thank you.
And let's flip the mic.
Yeah.
Okay, let's test. Hold on. Here we go.
Can you hear me? Not yet. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, been an artist most of my life. And I did, go to WVU, my alma mater, and I have a master's degree. I taught elementary school kids, and I specialized in early childhood education with art. And I actually have 2 degrees, one in that and one in art. And the focus of what I taught was to help children with comprehension. And so we created art projects where they had to write a story about what they were drawing, painting, or creating. And it was very, very successful, to the point that they adopted in the county at the time where I worked overall in all elementary schools. The only problem they had is finding people that had that degree. So I don't know what happened because I left education. I actually became an executive for a marketing company, worked with people all over the country, and I couldn't do any more drawing, painting, or creating because I had no space and I had no time. So as time went on, somebody introduced me to digital art. I've been doing digital art for pretty close to 13 years. I started with a very simple elemental program, quickly exceeded its capacity until somebody introduced me to Procreate. Procreate is an artist tool created by artists for artists, and it's exclusive to Apple. You can only use it on your Apple iPad. And the reason for that is because there's a really good economic decision for them to do that with Apple because they wanted to capture the product that they had because they are really involved in the arts. So how did I get that? I went to the Apple store, wanted to talk to them about it. They handed me an iPad Pro, the big one, and asked me if I'd ever used Procreate. And knowing that I was clinking around with this other one I didn't like very much, I said, no, what is it? So he said, here. He handed me the pencil, handed me the iPad, gave me a few directions, and I started drawing. And I'm doing my work, and all of a sudden, I had people behind me saying, how did you do that? They sold 4 iPads that day. The beauty of Procreate is you can do anything on it. If you are into oil, you can do oil painting. You can create the canvas, and you can paint the way you want with the kind of brushes you want. If you want to do watercolor, you can do watercolor. I do a lot of gouache. I love gouache. It's just very, I don't know, I like the layering. So this is what Procreate is. Can you use it on anything else? No. Only on an iPad. Only the big one. Well, no, actually you do the small ones, but you know, why do that? Because these screens are a lot nicer to hold and use as a tablet. And that's what it's meant to do. So let's talk about it. It's been a while since I've done this. You heard that part. And you heard that part. I went from that to that. Studio to this is what I use. Now this is my full studio. It's a carrying case, which you can see here. It's got everything I need. The iPad is constantly in my hands, and Elaine will attest to that. I never go without it anywhere. And I'm constantly drawing, painting, or creating. It doesn't take a lot. The glove is an interesting glove. It's a 3-finger glove, these two and these and your thumb. And the reason for that is because when you lay your hand on the screen, it recognizes that, and you can mess your whole thing up. So that creates that, it takes that friction away. So this is the whole toolkit that I use now. An overview of the iPad. The basics. Where do you go? Now I'm going to have to take this off of the screen, and we're going to go to my Procreate. It's a blank canvas. That's my training file. This is my gallery. And where I start is I open up a new canvas. So I'm going to open a canvas. I'm going to do 11 by 15. I can turn it if I want to go horizontal or vertical, however I want to do that. So where are the brushes? Can anybody tell me where they would be? Can you see the brushes?
Under the brush.
Yeah, just right there. Now right now, this is a brush that I was working on this morning. We're going to go to the standard brushes. When you get the program, yeah, I know, I have a lot of brushes. There's a standard set of brushes that comes with the Procreate. It's a one-time cost. It's usually anywhere from $13 to $15, and that's it. That's all you pay. There's nothing else after that. And you get the standard set of brushes, and quite frankly, in the beginning, you really don't need anything else. And we have a couple of people that took my training at MAC. Would you agree with that? Yes.
Yes.
So what you do is you go to those brushes and play with them. You take this, which is the Apple Pencil. Highly recommend getting the second generation. And you literally just play with the brushes. So I'm going to go to draw. I do a lot of sketch. So I'm going to do sketching. I'm going to do my pencil. There's HB and there's pencil. I'm going to use pencil because you get to see it a little better. And let me start.
That's what my work looks like.
Yeah, unfortunately, I like to have it flat.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
You know, but this is the beauty of this. I don't like that.
And you don't have to keep sharpening it.
Right.
She erased it because of my comment, you can tell.
It's important to know that you can, and then you're not running a piece of paper. All right, yes.
Do you use any special additional tips on your Apple Pen?
You can. There's a cover on the actual tip there
Yeah.
that some people prefer. You can. I don't. Because what I do is I have a screen protector on here. It's matte. There's one called Paperlight that gives me this sense of actually drawing on or painting on a texture. So sometimes I use them, but most time I find myself not needing it because of that. But if it's slick, that tip helps. So
Paper-like or light?
it's Paperlike.
I like it.
Yeah. And there's another one that is Paperlight. So it's what I would do is go to Amazon and pick the one that they recommend if you're looking for that. So literally, let me do. And I do a rough sketch, literally, just like this, and it doesn't look like very much. And I'll start, and I'm nervous, so I'm a little jittery here. I'll start with that, and then I'll go to the next level. This is the sketch. So I label this. Done. And then I'll lighten it, or I'll let it fade into the background so you can hardly see it. And then I use that as my starting point for creating an image. And I can show you a little bit more about that as I go into. Let me go, come on. This is actually the training I did and some of the things that I created. And at the end of the training, a couple of people raise your hand. How much fun did you have creating your flower vase?
I had a lot of fun.
It was, and the beauty of those flowers that came out of there were just amazing. So this is a bird sketch, but I start with this. And that's on a different layer. Now I'm going to make that a lot clearer. So I took that kind of goopy thing just to get the kind of the shapes and the placement and so forth, and then I basically reduced the opacity, and then I drew over top of it, and there's the bird. And then of course that's when you start painting and so forth. So let's go back to the presentation. So on the overview, I will send this overview information to whoever would be the coordinator of this so that you get to keep it. It tells you where everything is on your iPad as far as that. The brushes are usually the place you start, canvases and so forth, but this actually gives you everything you need to know about that. Apple, true to its name, is very simple to use. The icons tell you what it is. If you want to smudge, it has a finger. Okay, if you want to erase, it's an eraser. If you want to paint, it's the brushes. If you want to change something, add a layer and so forth, there are the little boxes. It's really simple, but the only way to learn it is to use it. You know, it's one thing to have it, try it a little bit. Once you've done it a few times, it gets to be really addictive. Trust me. Let me. These are all the things that come with that basic package. And Procreate does a beautiful job of giving you that information right on the actual app. So, you know, they go through the what we call the sidebar. The sidebar is the adjustments that you do with a brush. Just like when you take a brush and you want to paint something, the lighter it is, the less paint you lay. The firmer you are, the more paint, or the wider. This does the same thing, except there's a bar on the side that will help you adjust it. And you can adjust it to as fine a point as you want or as fat a point as you want. So the sidebar talks about setting it up, what it does, how it works, and then of course the editing tool. So here's the misperceptions that this is what I encounter. It's that, you know, all you do is use a photo and you just mash it around. In fact, I can tell you that most of the time I will expect to have that comment said to me every exhibit I've ever done. And so what I do is I give them the iPad, give them the blank screen, hand the pencil to them, make sure they understand that this is now a pencil. Here you go. Show me how it works. And usually it dispels the problem or the misperception. Is, you know, digital art doesn't take skill. You and I both know it does take skill. You have to be able to create from your mind first, and then you take that to an actual physical representation of what you're doing. You can do it as a drawing, you can do it as a painting, because sometimes I'll just paint. Sometimes, most of the time I start with a sketch. You know, the other thing is it's not real art. It's not traditional. You don't have a studio, you don't have, you know, brushes, you don't have any of that, so how is this art? It's the same thing. The only difference is that you're using this and you're choosing your format, your medium, and your choice of subject. You still have to know how to draw. And then of course it's AI. AI is different than this. It's not the same. This is an artist tool that was created by artists for artists to use on an iPad. And the whole purpose of that was to give artists the flexibility to use this anywhere at any time, regardless of the circumstances. When I'm flying cross country, it's boring as hell. Would you all agree with that? I just pull out the iPad and, you know, I set it up and I start painting. Or I start with something I'm working on and finishing it. And typically what happens is somebody's sitting right beside me, and I always get the little tap on the shoulder. And they say, how are you doing that? And it's the same thing. Just as if you were in a studio, the only difference is this is my studio. How do you learn? Well, when I started with Procreate, I didn't have anybody to talk to because I didn't know if anybody used it like I did. And I was in a community that I really just moved into, and I didn't know anyone. I didn't know any artists. I had no idea where to start. So, you know, YouTube, it's a friend and an enemy at the same time. There are artists on YouTube that are traditional artists that have moved to Procreate, and they do these fabulous, fabulous tutorials. They start with the simplest, easiest, most amazingly easy stuff to do. And what they do is they teach you the tool as you're doing it. It's all about learning about the tool of Procreate. May not like the subject matter that they're doing, but it's not about that. It's about learning how to use what the Procreate can do. This is one of the people that I really like. It's Art by Flo. And if you just look for her easy just look for easy in any of her tutorials. And the amount of time that she takes to teach you, usually 20 to 30 minutes is really a good time, because it takes her 20 to 30 minutes to explain it. It may take you an hour and a half to do it, because start and stop. What digital tools do I need? iPad, Apple Pencil, extra tips if you like to do that, that's really up to you. The iPad case, always have something to protect all your stuff and carry it with you. And I use an art glove when I'm really working on something that's super complex. And the tigers, I don't know if anybody ever saw my tigers, where they took me 6 months, and the last thing I wanted to do was to have that friction just erase a whole bunch of stuff I just did, because it's hard to get it back. You just can't automatically, do it. The other thing is, a thumb drive. You can actually download all of your work onto an external thumb drive with the same connection you use to charge. And I do that all the time, especially when I'm out in the field or if I'm on the road and I don't have the ability for me to go to cloud and put it into cloud. But it's nice to have that extra backup. The other thing is that portable Wi-Fi. This takes a lot of energy, and when you're using someone else's Wi-Fi or a hotel and so forth, it's pretty slow. So if you have your own, you've got a little extra power, it's really helpful. I always have it with me, and I'm, with me wherever I am, unless there's no signal. And it's particularly good when you're doing plein air. So those are the kinds of tools.
What requires Wi-Fi?
You have to have an account,
So it checks your Apple account even after you've downloaded the software onto the machine?
It's literally just a portable Wi-Fi.
No, I know what the jetpack is. What I want to know is what part of the system is pulling from the Wi-Fi and actively using that. Because obviously if you're creating on an airplane, you're probably not connected to your jetpack.
No, you've got to use their Wi-Fi. Unfortunately, you
but
can't.
But Wi-Fi is required? Is that what you're saying?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's just if you need to, if you're trying to save the work,
Got it.
download the work, or put it on a thumb drive. If you're particularly, because I put everything I do after I finish, or actually in process, onto cloud. So that way it's protected,
Right.
I won't lose it.
Right.
But if I don't have the capacity to do that, I need the Wi-Fi to be able to give me that
Sure.
opportunity. The other thing is that, if you can draw and create and do anything you want on the iPad as long as you have power.
Right. I just, when we talk about plein air, so many places in this area you get into and you don't even have a cellular connection. So that's why I was asking the question.
You don't need that,
But you can
just
create
draw.
without it. You just need it to back it up.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Got it.
I will say that the drawback doing plein air with this is to make sure you have a shade, because when it hits a screen, it's harder to see. And so literally, sometimes I'll do an umbrella, and that's all you need. What you're trying to do is to get the glare off the screen.
Well, and the device itself does not like to be in the sun. It will shut down pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the other thing. Don't let it heat up. Yes?
Yes. How much does the iPad cost?
Well, it depends entirely. Okay, printing your. Well, let me finish and we'll do Q&A. Okay. Once you've created it, what do you do next? Because you're not going to give them the original art, because you're basically going to be giving them your iPad. What you do is you go to a really fine art printer, and they can be hard to find or locate, or believe me, I did a few of trial and errors. What you want, the ones that you can sit with and actually talk about your work and what you want to accomplish and how they print it and the kind of quality of paper they're going to use and the inks. And it really matters, because this is going to represent you and them. And so I literally sit with my printers and we talk about the piece, and he'll pull it up on the screen. He'll say, I think this will represent itself better on this. And their guidance really helps, and that becomes what you show. And if I can get this we'll just end there. Yes?
So you said that you create an art piece and then you put it on the thumb drive. Can we take the thumb drive and put it on our Hewlett-Packard or our other computer, and will it come up as an actual picture?
If you save it as a JPEG, as a PNG or a PDF, or
An image
it has,
file.
but you can't save it as a Procreate because the raw file, because it won't recognize it. But yeah, you could see it on yours. You know, what I do sometimes is that my screen is light or dark, sometimes darker than I would like, so the colors are just a little less muted than I want. So I actually will put it on my computer and then adjust the color. Yes?
That is actually a question that I have, because I do a lot of photography, and when I play around with on my phone, is the full screen of the brightness what you end up when you print, or?
Every screen shows differently. That's why it's important to sit at the printer, because they're used to seeing, particularly digital art, because it's becoming more popular. They're used to looking at it and determining whether it needs to be just adjusted a little lighter, whether the temperature needs to be a little different, that kind of thing. I mean, I do that with every piece that I print. I sit with the printer and actually do that. Once I've established what it needs to be, they have the file. I don't need to do it again. But you do need to go there.
But in your experience, going for a full brightness of your screen is more or less where you want the piece to be?
Yes.
So that's okay.
Yeah.
That's.
The other thing is you want to go to somebody that's going to give you a proof, because that proof is going to tell you what you're going to get. I will tell you that printing it on paper, flat paper, changes it, because it flattens out the color, it flattens everything out. That's where the printer gets real handy with it, because they could say, we could take that up, just let's give it more depth, and they're able to then adjust it according to what they know it's going to print like, and then you get another proof, and it goes, yes, this is what we need. Yes.
Can you show us a couple of your pieces of artwork?
Which ones do you want?
I don't know, you've got beautiful ones.
Well, I'm known.
Your animals, your...
Yeah, well, the animals, the show I just recently did, which is Endangered Species. Let's see, let me go. Where are you?
And while you're looking, just circling back to Roberta's question real quick, on Amazon, Roberta, you could probably find a refurbished one that would work for about $400, and then if you wanted the Hotsy Totsy jet engine, about $1,300.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
This is the one that took me 6 months. There's a lot of work that went into that, a lot of texturing, a lot of layering. This is all wash. And if you look at it when it's printed, you actually can see the brush strokes. So that's,
Susan, I have a question. When you started, you said you're going to pick your canvas, and you said you're going to take an 11 by 15. Does that mean that the work that you're doing to show us is geared to a large print?
yes.
Okay, so
You want large. The reason for that is easier to shrink it down, but once you start expanding out, you lose quality. So the higher the pixelation, the better the quality you're going to get. And I can take this one particular piece. This one actually I could do is probably 40 by, as much as 45 inches, but
And how big is
that
your
one.
canvas there?
It's 11 by 14. I found it's a really good middle ground for the two. Yes.
Similar to AI.
Yes. Yes.
The program, are you renting it?
No, you just
You buy
purchase it.
it.
It's a one-time.
One time, not annual.
And
It's awesome.
How long does Apple support it? Because in the past, I've had Apple programs and other Apple things.
On this
that
program?
No, but in other Apple, like their web, they used to have a web program that I loved, and after 3 years, it was gone.
This is a permanent fixture with Apple because of the technical aspect of what it is. It's the best art program on.
Well, they've always had really.
Yeah, I know, but
I
this is
get
never
where
gonna,
that went.
don't worry about it, it's never gonna go away. It's too popular, it's the reason why they sell iPads, honestly, especially the bigger iPads without this and the program that they also pay the artists that actually create these to keep updating and improving And, you know, artists actually, like me, get to participate in the forum to ask for certain things. Like, I'd like to have a search on my brushes so I can find them.
But
Yes.
in line with that, do they do updates like they do
Yes.
for their computers?
All the time.
What if they update it and you
Nice.
hate what they've updated? Because sometimes sometimes the updates just take away something else. They give you what you want and then take something else.
Well, you know, it's a real simple solution to that. Before an update, even on my own system at home, on just my simple, you know, all the stuff I do with everything else, I download it. I make sure I back it up. And if
So
I lose something,
the whole system is set here, and you could call that up
yeah.
and,
I mean,
and use the other.
I never trust any download on the art. If it's not stored in an external hard drive and I lose it, it's my fault. So, yeah, it's gonna change a little. I mean, there was a brush or two that went away that everybody clamored about, so they posted it and everybody got it back. So, you know, no, I've never had a problem with that. Most of the updates are an improvement on some of the functions, and a lot of the artists will recommend. So, yes.
Some of the apps that you can play on your phone, filters to transform your pictures.
Yes.
Suggest some paper also to have
Yes.
a texture for digital representation on. With the iPad, with the Procreate, do you select the end finish printing medium that you want to have?
Yeah. I mean, I print on, Elaine, you print on watercolor paper.
I print on watercolor paper.
I do archival, which is heavier, because I'm looking for the density of the color.
Right.
And I do canvas. I do a lot of canvas.
So you choose that ahead of time so that.
As long as the art is done appropriately in the size that will
Okay.
print the quality, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's up to the printer to make sure that it prints correctly. And that's why sitting with them is really helpful.
And if we haven't already covered this, Procreate is $9.99.
$12.99.
$12.99.
Yeah, it's $12.99.
Okay, $12.99. All right.
That's a one-time
just
cost, and it's the best digital art system ever. I mean, and I've used a bunch of them, Affinity, I've used Photoshop, all those, and they're clunky compared to the smooth kind of ease of going from one thing to another. So, and
We had a demo a couple years ago during COVID. One of our artists that's since moved from the area was an early digital adapter artist, and he introduced us to something that was available for Windows computers, and you used an external tablet to draw on. And to your point, Sherry Lynn, within 60 days of Homer doing that demo, that Autodesk discontinued that software and discontinued their support for the software. And I think that Apple is, I agree with our presenter today, Susan, that Apple is committed to this software. Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, the people behind it are
And
just amazing.
if you set your iPad and your iPhone to back up to the cloud,
Yeah.
it will do a 100% complete backup of your phone. You don't get that on Android. And I can restore up to a brick iPad from that iTunes backup and have exactly what the user uploaded the night before to the cloud. And I use that backup restoration process in my forensic computer practice because it is so efficient and effective. It's 100%.
New one I'm working on.
That's great.
Yeah, it's color blocking. So, I mean, you know, once I've established the background or something, so I do the sketch and then I color block and then I start. So that's
So
before.
do you work with layers?
Yeah.
How does- Can you
Yes.
show us how that works, maybe the layers?
Yes. Let me find one.
She touched on it a while ago. They're awesome when you
Yeah.
do that.
Let me see. I'm looking for what I think. I'm going to take this back. I'm trying to find
You had
one
the
that-
bird in layers.
Yeah,
It was kind of black and white, but you definitely had that bird sketch in layers.
Yeah, but if I find the one I think would be, because sometimes the layers can be deceiving, so.
How many layers would you typically use for one of your?
Oh, sometimes 2 up to 71. How many? It depends on the complexity of the piece. But here's let me talk about layers. Layers offer you an opportunity to test. When I was painting on regular, I was doing Bristol board because I was using pen and ink, quill actually. I couldn't try something and then erase it, right? With a layer, you have the basic the basic image that you've already created, and there's been some work put into that. And you want to try maybe doing some different stuff on it. You do a layer on top, and then you give it a try. You can maybe like it or not, and then you can merge it if you want. It gives you an opportunity to play with it and discover what works and what doesn't. There's been some really happy accidents, and there are really not so happy accidents. The not so happy accidents I could actually erase.
Can you turn them off, your layers off and on?
Yes.
Just like Photoshop?
Yes. In fact, let me find one of the bird images that, it's one of my favorites. All right, these are the layers. There's my canvas. I created a specific canvases. This is Bristol board, actually. I used a Bristol board canvas on that. So it's something that's a creation for you. And in my class, I actually gave a bunch of canvases away. My signature, I always recommend make sure you embed your own signature. And then there's see the bird sketch? I don't have it highlighted, so. And there's the bird sketch on top of that. So I'm gonna take that away. And this is different layers for the bird and the branches. Okay, I don't know if you could see that very well, but yeah, layers are really helpful. The thing is, I find that there's always a challenge with the art group. I'm a member of an art group that's actually global, and we get together fairly regularly, and we'll do live draws and play around with stuff. And one of the things that we try to do is what we call single layer, one brush. And I tell you, it's challenging, but it's a heck of a lot of fun because it really forces you to concentrate on doing everything on that one canvas, but it also improves your skill. So you can do anything you want, just like an artist would, and it just gives you that little extra edge when it comes to creating something. Yes?
Can you duplicate layers?
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
Very similar to Photoshop and a lot of tools.
Susan, I have a question. You showed a picture of the elephant, the mama elephant and
Yeah.
the baby.
You're right.
And the second picture, it looked to me that the mama elephant was unchanged, but the baby elephant was no longer a side view, but a front view.
Mm-hmm.
Can you manipulate that baby elephant to turn without having to redo?
No,
or
you have to
redraw?
redraw it.
You got to redraw.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, what I could do is I could move, let's say the baby elephant, let's say the composition, it doesn't work in the composition, I can move it. I can move him. But here's the challenge with moving digital art image of any kind. If you move it too often, you lose quality. So you need to be aware that move it once and leave it. Just make sure you know where you want to plant it before you do it.
Interesting. Okay.
So, but yeah, layering is, this one I have. Now, excluding the canvas, which is, and I'll show you the canvas. I have the canvas off right now to show you that. See what it does? It changes it completely. The canvas is 1, 2, 3, 4 layers, and my signature is 5. That's even before I get started. And then I put that in a group. So I have 1, 2. I have 2 sketches. One is the bird and the pussy willow branch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 layers for that.
When you say you choose the canvas, is that to give you the idea of what it will look like when you print?
Yes,
texture.
it gives you
But-
texture.
But when you print it,
You get the texture,
you get the texture of the canvas also.
depending on the printer. Okay, I'll emphasize that. It'll give you the look of the texture. I mean, when you print on paper, it's gonna be whatever paper you have. That's gonna be the texture you have, but it's also gonna give you the texture that you've represented in.
That's my question,
Yeah.
okay. So it is more a digital representation of the texture, but then if you want to print it on canvas, you should take that away so that,
No, I don't.
okay.
I leave it.
Oh,
Because it
okay.
gives a little extra dimension, and I really like that.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna take that sketch away because we don't need to see him, do we? So, but no, I mean, if you like to paint, draw, fuss with stuff, you're an artist, this is, yeah, it's a godsend. The story I tell about my friend Allie, and she's gonna hate me for it. She's from Crete, and she and I become friends through Procreate. She's a watercolorist and of some note in her area, so she does shows and so forth. She started Procreate. The other day, she said, you know, I gotta go back, I'm gonna try my paper again. So she's working really hard, and she tapped the paper, and it didn't erase. So she said, I think I'm a Procreate artist now. So it's fun. For me, it's been just a godsend because I can carry it anywhere. And as an executive going all over the country, speaking at meetings and doing dumb things that I hated doing, this gave me the relief that I didn't have before. And, you know, I could escape into my art. So, yeah, and I still do it.
Pretty nice.
Any questions? Yes.
Would you consider the layers kind of a little bit like a collage? Like you work on one part and then you another and then you put them all together and like you said.
You can do that if you want. Mostly my layers are building texture, you know, especially when I'm doing any kind of pastels. And I've gotten into pastels lately because I love what it does for the feathering on birds.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm just layering. So the layer underneath is the base, and then I add more texture on top of that. And sometimes there are a couple of layers to get that feathering that I'm looking for.
I'm just asking because I see that you have the bird and then the branch.
Mm-hmm.
So they're on two separate layers.
And the talons are also on a separate layer.
Yeah,
I
so
don't know.
that's why I'm saying like visualizing a little bit like a collage that you're going to
Well,
put
the reason why the
together.
talents are on a separate layer is because I was lazy and I didn't do masking. So, you know, that's a whole different subject.
Well, and you could also, if you wanted to do a series using the same branch, you could just redo the
Yes.
bird layer
Yes.
to a different bird and then move through it, and then you would have reproduced that into a series
That's right.
by using layers.
One of the things that people ask me a lot is I've created this beautiful piece, and maybe there's one thing in there that you spend an awful lot of time, and can I use it again? Can I actually duplicate it? Yes. And you can copy it and move it to another canvas, but the challenge is the same. If you move it too often, you lose resolution. So I always say be careful what you ask for. Just make sure that you know where you want to put it before you do.
And go back to the original one if you want to
Yes.
copy rather than the third one down the line.
Well, you can vectorize them, but you have to, that's a whole nother subject. And I don't want to get into that because
That's not in this hour.
No.
That's the advanced hour.
Yeah. Yes.
I actually have a question for the PAA people that do the shows. Let's say I created something with Procreate and wanted to enter it into the Motherlode. It's a print. It's not, but it's an original thing I did on my iPad.
Digital art is accepted in the
Yes, it
Motherlode
is.
Show.
Okay.
I mean, actually.
Susan was in the Motherlode Show last year with the bee.
Yeah,
Okay.
which sold, by the way.
Wow.
There are competitions that do not recognize digital art.
Yeah.
They think that it's somewhere in their mind,
It's
they
corrupt.
think it is a manipulation of a photograph and they're just printing it.
But-
or it's a copy of the original piece off of paper, and they think that you're just submitting a copy. It needs, education needs to be out there, and it's gonna take us a while to get to that point where places like Sacramento Fine Arts understands that digital art is not just a giclée, or the Crockers, big, just a giclée, or KDIE, things, they don't get it yet.
They're getting there, though.
They're getting there.
Always read the prospectus, it'll
Yes.
tell you.
Or call them.
If they haven't put it in the prospectus, it's their problem, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I come to that from an AI artist that's getting excluded in a lot of places. So if you don't want me, put it in your prospectus.
Well, it's interesting, you get mixed messages because the Crocker readily accepts my stuff and actually invites me to participate, where KVIE won't even look at it.
Yeah.
So, and they'll say things like, well, it can be reproduced. Well, what art isn't reproduced? But they do photography. So, I mean, it's mixed messages. So my thought is, I just go and do what I do. People will accept it if they understand it, and that's part of the education. Also, doing these kinds of things kind of dispels some of the misperceptions that you still don't need to know how to draw to do this. It's not something you just sit down and all of a sudden, woo, it's done. You don't become an artist by owning Procreate. Yes?
I just have a technical question. Does the program have built in the ability to save to different formats? Like when you're done, can you save it?
Yes. Typically what happens is that I'll keep the raw file. I'll put that in the cloud. I'll also save it as a TIFF, because a lot of times printers want it in that form in order to get the true depth of it. You can save it as a JPEG, as a PDF, as a PNG, SG, whatever, in any format you want. Yeah.
It's built in.
Yes, it's already built in. In fact, it'll ask you when it says share, if you want to share it, where you want to share it, and how you want to share it, in what format. And typically, if I'm going to put anything on social media, I'll save it as a JPEG, shrink it down, because that way people can't blow it up and use it.
Yes.
And put it in my camera roll. There's anything you can do after you do that you can reproduce it, just like you can with any art. You take it to somebody to scan your art, then it becomes whatever you want to do with it.
But if you want those layers, you need to save it as raw, right?
Oh, yes. The raw file is that's your gospel.
Lose
Never.
and save it to JPEG.
Not necessarily. Depends on how big the
How
canvas
big
is.
Okay.
I mean, if you have, and this is where a printer friend of ours, okay, who is no longer, he became ill. His biggest challenge with digital artists that were starting out was when they would bring something for him to print, and it would be too small. And so when they wanted to do a 11 by 14, they had so few pixels that it just looked like a blur. And so he had to train them on, take that, make it bigger, and you'll be able to produce it for a very long time in a very large formats, all the way down to little. And I do cards with the same size. Yes?
Just, this might be really obvious. So what you're saying is that the raw file is kind of like what a PSD was in Photoshop? Because it keeps all the layers and keeps all the original?
Yeah.
Okay.
Except a little more complicated than that.
Okay.
When it comes to Photoshop, Photoshop is where I used to spend time.
Yeah.
I find, and I mean no disrespect to anybody that uses, I find it very clunky compared to this. This gives you more capability than Photoshop in all formats. So here's the cool part. You're in Procreate and you want to import it into Photoshop, you can. So you've got a lot of flexibility with this program.
You can't go the other way.
Yes, you can, but it's a little more complicated.
But,
It's Photoshop.
Her question was, when you say raw file, it keeps
Everything.
all your layers, so when you download it,
Yep.
you will see all your layers,
Yeah.
like you would see in Photoshop. So the answer is yes, right? So it's that, which,
But she just says the tools are a little easier.
yeah, that's
or-
fine, but I mean, I think that what you want to know is that if you were
Yeah, with the-
exporting it in that format, it's the PSD of the,
Yeah.
the Photoshop, where
There's
all
plenty
the
of
information
information. Yeah.
is kept, which is why it's such big files.
Yeah.
So Susan, I'm at an angle where I can see both the picture on the iPad as well as up there. The iPad picture colors are vibrant. They're not, you probably can't see.
It's because of the screen.
Right, and that's because of the screen, but when you go to get it printed, you've got the vibrancy.
Yeah, this is what you're looking for.
They will calibrate.
That's why you get.
Great
proof.
word, yeah, exactly. And that's why sitting with a printer is really good, because they can actually take a look at it. This is what they do. So our printers are looking for a way to represent the art as it shows on the screen.
As it shows on your
Yeah.
screen, yeah.
And, you know, sometimes, if they're not happy with it, they'll actually do it again. I mean, that's why I emphasize the quality of our printers. So.
Do you feel comfortable sharing with us who your printer is?
I do. I do canvas wraps with Josh King. It's called G. Clay King.
G. Clay King.
In Sacramento. And Miller Brown. And most people don't know them, but they do fabulous work.
Miller Brown?
Miller Brown.
I do go to G. Clay.
Yeah. So I use them both for different things. Yeah.
What does Miller Brown, what's their niche? Is that paper? Is it?
It's really, if it can be printed on certain paper, they can do it. They have the equipment. They're fabulous. I've always been very pleased with the work they give. They also do cards, really nice quality cards. So, my thought is that if I'm going to sell cards and I'm going to sell them at a decent price, they need to be pieces of art. My cards are frameable and they will last as long as a very high quality G. Clay.
And where is Miller Brown? They're in Sacramento too?
Rancho Cordova.
Yeah,
Rancho Cordova.
yeah.
Do either of them print on metal?
No, neither one. That you have to, I don't know, who's the metal person?
Bay Photo does make
Bay
metal.
Photo
Bay
does
Photo
it.
does, but
And
there's another one.
Graphic Dimensions does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you're doing a really standard size, I think even Costco Photo could do it.
Costco doesn't do anymore, they shut
Oh,
down.
they shut down, okay.
Yeah. And plus their hangers didn't work for art shows because they only do cleats.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, but you basically have to have it shipped, because unless you want to drive over to Santa Cruz?
Yeah, no, it was Bay Photo that they ship to you. I use it.
Yeah, they do, but you pay for the shipping, it adds to the cost. So you have to consider,
Yeah, but you know what, driving to Sacramento from up here is not free either.
no, it isn't.
Right, yeah.
Half a tank of gas by the time I get back.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, well, that's the thing, yeah.
Yeah, gas was $109 yesterday, so.
That is just
What?
deadly.
$109 to fill up my van yesterday.
Oh, I was gonna say, that's
What's
a
what was
pricey
the
for
gallon price?
It was, I don't know, like $5.29, I think.
One of the things that I'm kind of known for in the art community are my gnomes.
Oh.
They're fun. They're kind of my friends.
So you start everything from scratch, or do you use?
Yeah, I'll start from the sketch, every one of them. The little gnomes, they have little bubbles, you
But
know,
yeah,
round
yeah.
body, round head, you know, oval arms.
Do you reuse the nose
Yeah.
from one to the other? So that,
No, I don't. A lot of
You
times-
custom make the noses every time?
It depends on where they're facing, you know, their color, every now and then I can, but generally speaking, I find myself having to recreate it. But you get good at learning how they look, and so it's pretty easy, so,
You could draw that nose in your sleep?
yeah. I could. So,
So, was it difficult for you to limit yourself to the size of the iPad?
Size, and you mean the size of the canvas?
Yeah, well, because obviously, depending on what kind of painter you are, I mean, before being a photographer, I was a painter.
Oh, you're talking
And I
about
kind of
doing
like-
a big canvas,
Yeah,
having
and I
a
was
studio
doing
with
like
big canvas.
pretty, like big stuff, so it is challenging for me to keep my strokes to this size.
It's an adjustment,
Okay.
but once you've made that adjustment, you won't find it be a problem. But the other thing is that you can blow it up,
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
show me, yeah.
you know, like this. So,
Okay, it is hard.
So,
Okay.
so you could create something that was, the dimensions were, 30 by 40 inches or however big you wanted it, and you could then zoom in so that you can get the detail that you want.
yes,
And zoom out to get what it looks like all together.
yeah,
zoom
like
in.
this. This, you can see all the blobs. You know,
I see.
supposed to be leaves. You know. But yeah, and the hearts were just, hearts, so. But that's what I do when I'm getting into a finer detail. The tigers were that way. I had to really get focused because I wanted that to be anatomically correct, but I also wanted to represent it in a way that gave you an emotion. So that took
Right.
blowing it up.
I find it really challenging to make a good curve. Does the software help with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, it's there's a setting in the brushes, and I only use that for certain things. Like I have a brush I didn't use today that is smooth. It smooths out the, but it'll keep doing it. So sometimes you want the irregular line, and it'll smooth it out for you. But yeah, you can adjust
Yeah,
that.
you worked really hard to get that zigzag and then all of a sudden it's straight? Yes.
Once you've done this and you've done it for a while, you've worked with different artists, you go to some of the art meetings like I do, or you do some of the tutorials, you learn how to create your own brushes. And there are times I need a certain thing. I now have the ability to go in and make my own brush to fit that need. Hair is the biggest challenge for me. And I actually spent some time figuring out how to create strands of hair. So when I painted it, the brush had fingers on it, so just like you would clipping a regular brush, and so that's how I got that. But you can do that once you get to a point where you understand it. So I mean, it's limitless what you can do with this.
For $12.99.
For $12.99. I will tell you, this is where your money is, though.
Yes, exactly, the hardware.
But the same thing with this is a one-time cost, and it usually, unless you're crazy like me, whenever they have the substantial updates in their iPads, I want the bigger one. They'll last 5 years or more, mostly forever. So it depends on how long you want to keep it. And so this one is Generation 5. And I've held on to this longer than the other ones because I'm waiting for the next generation where they're actually going to do substantial changes to it. It's actually going to be bigger. So that means that this is functioning just fine. I just am crazy and I want the bigger one. So I just traded up.
Is Procreate available on other Apple devices?
No, just
Just the iPad,
yeah.
just the tablet?
The actual Mac or the digital side of iPad is perfect environment for the Procreate app. You can't use this on a desktop. You just can't. I mean, have you ever tried to draw with a mouse?
Yeah, you'd have to have an external
Oh.
tablet, and then the whole cost-saving benefit is gone
That's
by the
right.
time you get the external
chose,
drawing
yeah.
device.
They chose
A
not to put
touchscreen
it on.
of some sort
Yeah.
would be required.
Yeah, well, they don't even offer it on a Mac, so it's just the iPad or you don't. Yes.
So I'm supposing that there are minimum requirements, because you can buy a 10-inch iPad for $200, or you could buy a 10-inch iPad for $800, depending on the configuration.
What it is when you're buying this to use it specifically for art, talk to Apple and they'll tell you the different formats of iPad that you can use Procreate adequately on there, because some are too small. But the other thing is its amount of RAM that you get. For example, a terabyte is really important, because this takes a lot of data to do this, and all the images that you see, you know, obviously you have to have enough space for it, right? So it's that, and that'll determine how many layers you will get, because less RAM, less layers, just fact.
So you might be able to do it on a 16 gigabyte, but you're not going to get very far.
No.
And you'll
Yes.
I do have Procreate Pocket on my iPhone.
Yes, you can do it on your phone.
Okay.
Yes. It's limited though.
Very,
They'll, because of the size and because of the phone, there's only certain things that you have available to you. Now, what I use it for when I'm traveling and I want to do a quick thing I have in my mind, I'll actually sketch something really rough on my phone and it'll save it for me. And then I put it on my iPad and I finish it from there. I mean, that I do use, and that's like $4.95 or something. Is that it? Any other questions? Thank you for having me. Yes.
Very informative. Thank you.
Do you have a schedule of classes you offer?
Well, I just started doing that. Right now, we just finished one at the MAC. There was what we call level 1 and level 2. Level 1 was just where everything was. Okay.
That's what I do.
And level 2 was we did a live draw. A finished piece from beginning to end. We did them in consecutive weekends. We're going to have another one, and I haven't gotten the dates yet, from Cheryl in October. So, how many people went to this class? Okay, why don't you explain what you thought about the class?
Well, it was great. She did a great job starting with the basics and showing us where everything was. Everyone had to have an iPad and a pencil. You had to have the program already listed. And she showed you basically how to use everything. And on the second class then,
We actually did
we
something.
actually started doing drawings and things like that. So, yeah, it was great.
And then
Like
she,
another
then it was
advanced one.
Yeah, and then she was addicted to it, right?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. Well, there has been discussion about that, about, you know, a couple people would like to get together and just do a draw together, because when you're together, you can actually talk about, no, how did you get that, or what did you do here, and that kind of thing, so. Thank you.
Hold on, Kathy, gotta turn you on.
Turn.
Okay.
Am I on? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to take a break, but before we do that, I have a couple of announcements. As you can see, we have the repurposed art in the back of the room. And Marilyn, where is Marilyn? Oh, there's Marilyn. Marilyn has got the ballots. So the idea is that you check it out and you vote for your favorite, okay? Then we will tabulate the votes later and get the results, okay?
We have prizes.
Oh, and we have prizes. There are prizes. And so I got Marilyn and Carolyn. Carolyn, and can you see Carolyn is standing up there already? Carolyn has got a survey, a paper, one paper, that's a survey about how we can improve PAA.
No, the member shows.
Not what it is.
Is it the show?
Yeah.
Okay.
The survey deals, I'm gonna read it so that I don't get off track. The survey deals with our member shows, of which we just had one, and quite a number of you participated, thank you. Even if you've never entered any of our shows and never plan to, we still wanna hear from you. The board makes a lot of decisions, but we need input from you so that you're helping drive those decisions. We'd like to hear from you. There are a couple of issues we really need to be addressing, but there are several things on here. It is a front and back. If you decide to do this today, this is the paper copy. If you turn it in to me by the end of the day today, I'll hang out for a little bit. We are going to eventually put it online, probably next month, I believe. So if you'd rather wait and do the online version, that's fine, but please, don't do both of them. We do want your input, but just once. So if you want one, I have them here. If you don't understand the question,
Me personally?
Yeah, I want to see your
ask
stuff.
me. And if I don't understand it, something's wrong because I made the survey. So I'm gonna leave them right here on this table, take whatever you want and give it back to me when you're done.
Cool.
Okay, that was it.
Okay, thanks for straightening that out.
looking
Okay,
you
so
up.
2 things, the vote and the survey if you're interested. And with that, let's take a break. And we'll take 15 minutes, so we'll be back in 15 minutes. How's that?
Are you live?
It's time. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? Testing, testing. Good. Okay. Break's over. Now we go to work. No, we don't go to work. We never work here. Okay, did everybody who wanted to vote? Is there anybody that forgot to vote, that wanted to vote?
Can
Do
we
you
get,
see?
can we get the ballot box passed up unless Marilyn's counting them?
Do you see that there's no pressure? But that preempts it because now it's closed. No more voting, in case you guys weren't thinking about it. I've got a couple of guests who, you know what, and I didn't do this. Do we have new members and guests with us today?
She's a new member.
I'm a guest.
Sherry.
Yes.
And guess what, you guys? Sherry is a potter. That means she works with clay.
Sounds like she works in Procreate as well.
That's right, that's right. She's tried Procreate.
No, I wish.
Well, welcome Sherry, and thank you for working with clay. I love it. Who else? Who else is new? And yes?
I'm a guest, yeah.
You're a guest, and what?
Peggy.
Peggy. And Peggy up front is a guest. Thank you for coming. I hope you enjoyed the meeting.
Very much.
Are you an artist?
I do watercolor and mosaics and Procreate.
Procreate, that's right, you went to that
Right.
class.
Right.
Okay, well, we have membership applications.
Thank you.
And we are a good group.
I can tell.
We're growing, we are growing. Roberta, how many do you know roughly?
You know, I didn't bring a count, but I keep getting new renewals.
I know that we had 2 new members this month, maybe Sherry was one. And I was thinking, it's still kind of early in the year still, but we're like at what, 147, 150? It's nice. It's a big number, Okay, what I'd like to do is call up Matt Harley, and he's going to give a bit of information about the studio tour. So take it away, Matt.
So this will just be real quick. We do have applications available for the studio tour if you want to participate. It will be a little bit different this year. We're just doing one weekend, but we're doing it on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to have 3 days in a row. Set up once, you don't have to worry about in between weeks. If you submit your application by May 15th, the cost is $100. If you are a procrastinator and wait until after May 15th until June 1st, it's $125. So we really want to encourage you to apply early so we have the information that we need to be able to create all of the advertising that's required to make the tour successful. We do have a tour meeting next Tuesday, not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow, at the Placerville Rayleigh's on Placerville Drive. You can also attend via Zoom if you need to be someplace else. It's at noon on the 23rd. These meetings usually last 45 minutes to an hour. This is basically for us to disseminate information as well as to help coordinate all of our different activities in preparing for the tour. Any questions?
Which weekend?
Oh, I'm sorry. The last weekend of September, the 27th, 28th, and 29th. That's a very important part to know. Any other questions? Thank you.
I came late. You announced the next meeting.
Yes, I did.
Thank you, Matt.
And if anyone needs applications, I have them right here.
And I just want to add that this studio tour is a long time tradition with Placerville Arts. And it was quite successful last year, wasn't it, Matt? You had a lot of artists last year.
I'm sorry, I was...
Oh, successful last year? The art tour?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah. So step up to the plate, you guys. It's fun. Roberta?
We have 155 members.
Ooh, okay, and it's still relatively early in the year. We were over 200 last year, and some are just slow getting on board. Sue Wickersham is our editor for the newsletter, and she did say if you have yet to sign up as a member, you'll no longer get the newsletter after April. Will they get the April? Oh, wait, it's the May one that's gonna come out.
Yeah, right,
Okay, they
the one
won't-
that's coming out in 2 weeks.
Okay, they won't get that if they're not a member. Okay, just kind of a little bit of a tweak there. Okay. All right, what I'd like to do is introduce Bill Robinson to come on up and talk to us about something exciting. Maybe you should wear a lei.
I will be, but not today.
Here's Bill, you guys.
Thank you. What I wanted to mention to you is Images of Hope. There's brochures up here. If any of you don't know what Images of Hope is, we give moving and art therapy classes to people dealing with cancer or other traumas in their life. And Matt's one of our instructors, as a matter of fact. He teaches journaling with watercolor, pen and watercolor, once a month. And we're always looking for instructors for different types of art. Right now we have Sherry Hoger does a watercolor class. Kathy Urquhart does one of her Kathy's Paint Party classes. We have another gal who teaches a mixed media class, and Matt, who teaches the journaling in watercolor. And so we're always looking for people to do art classes for us, teach us. And we've also got, we've been in existence now, this is our 11th year. Actually, it's our 12th year. We've been in existence since 2012. And we're a nonprofit organization. And we're having a fundraiser, our Luau in the Orchard, as we're calling it, on June 1, Saturday, June 1 at Rainbow Orchards. So please come if you can and help support us. It's going to be a fun event. And thank you. That's it.
Banners.
Oh, banners. Yeah, I better talk about banners.
What the heck's a luau?
I'm sitting at a table where 3 out of the 4 of us are doing banners, including myself. One of the items that's on this talks about the Banners on Parade. The premiere of Banners on Parade will be at Rainbow Orchards during the Luau in the Orchard. The due date is obviously for the banners before that, and we're gonna have them all hung there so you can see the fronts and the backs. And they will be judged the day before. So we've got 2 judges who are gonna be judging it. And this is our 20th year. We've done 18 years, this is our 18th year of banners. We did wheelbarrows and wine barrels way back at the beginning. I've been involved with it since the beginning. And it's just a great event. And what this is, for any of you that don't know, is the banners that are on Main Street during the summer, from June through usually October. And then we have a silent auction at the end of October, where we, online auction, where we sell them so we can do it again next year. So if you want to see them up close and personal, though, see all the mistakes. Right, Donna?
Yep.
Yeah.
You have to make reservations, and does it cost anything?
The fundraiser, it is a fundraiser. Tickets are $50 each. And we're gonna have a silent auction, live auction. Obviously, we're trying to raise money. And, because that's how we pay our instructors to do the classes. And we pay rental on facilities that we have
Do we
around
have
the
to have
area.
a reservation? Do we need a place to sign up for it, or?
There's a, you can go right to the website and you can go buy your ticket.
Thank you.
And one other thing that just happened today is our new website just went live. So you can go check it out. It's gonna be in a newsletter on around the 1st of May about it, but you guys get to find out about it first. So, anyway, come if you can. We'd love to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Cool, thank you. Thank you, Bill. Carolyn,
Yes.
it's now your turn again.
Again.
Again. Hey, Carolyn doesn't-
Oh, my God, I'm not coming up that.
Yeah, Carolyn told me I'm not coming up
You
there.
guys can all hear me, I know you.
Yeah.
No, we can't. We will, the camera cannot hear you. We can hear you, but the camera cannot.
You've got to be in front
I can
of
hear
the
better out here.
camera. We have to
I
document you.
I won't do that. Okay, this is regarding the member show. We just had our spring member show. Spring 2024 had 107 entries. I think that was a lot. It's the most I remember seeing since I've been involved here. We sold 5 pieces of art, which was really good, and you know, PAA takes commission, 25% commission, but we, and I don't remember how much she said we were getting, like $350 off of those commissions, so that's a good thing. We also sold both of our silent auction pieces, and that money goes to our outreach program. I want to thank everybody who's here, who entered, who volunteered, or who came to see the show. I want to thank Sylvia Coleman, who almost always manages to get our events listed in the Mountain Democrat full page, B1, really nice. Oh, where was I? Thanks to Linnell Phillips, who does all the organizing of the volunteers, all the computer-related work, and so much more. She's an excellent face of PAA in the community and quite the champion for our group. And thank you to the folks at the Government Center, because they continue to allow us to hang our show there twice a year, and it really is a nice venue, even if the lighting isn't perfect. We had someone tell us the lighting was bad. It's really a nice venue. FYI, you can go to our YouTube channel, which is just
Placerville Arts.
and see the video of the judge walking around and talking about the pieces that she chose as winners. We did have a few issues come up that need to be addressed. A few things slipped by. You may have noticed a couple things you may not have. We're all volunteers and stuff happens. The intake people, the hangers, myself, everybody, we missed a few things. We try our best to make sure everybody follows rules, and we're going to work to remedy a couple of the things that took place this time. It's a work in progress. Please read the rules carefully. If you're going to enter, please read the rules. If you're going to enter Motherlode, please read the rules. It's a lot to read, and I know sometimes we artists, we don't like to read things, but it's important. Read them carefully and try and be honest, please, because that was, anyway. Okay. The next show is the fall show. It's going to be October 7th through 11th. You can watch your newsletter regarding that. We have Cheryl Gleason as the judge, and a lot of you know who Cheryl is at the MAC. This one will be based, categorized and judged by subject matter.
And if you do digital art goes with the subject matter.
Yes.
If you do photography, it will be a photography category.
We're not sure about that yet. That was in the survey.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So, and a lot of you who
Not
answered
to
that
prejudice
question,
you about the answer to the question on the
a lot of
survey.
you who did the surveys already, I got a lot of, I don't know. That's kind of how, that's part of, that was the one question that started this whole survey. Does a photo of an animal go in animals? Does a photo of a landscape go in landscape, or is photography going to continue to be its own? And so I'm not going to argue with you about it, because.
Tell us what you want.
Tell us what you think. Okay. But it's going to be subject matter. Some reminders. read the rules carefully. We don't ever want to turn anybody away, but the rules are in place for a reason, so it's best if everybody reads them and conforms to those rules. Two-dimensional artwork needs wire hangers, please. Sawtooth hangers make it difficult. We can't hang. We can hang them, but it makes it easier for the people hanging if we don't do cleats or sawtooth. Blah, 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 blah. If you have wire that is not plastic coated, that kind of wire pokes people or hangers, and then we get blood on things, and we don't want that. So be sure to cover, if you have exposed ends on your wires, if they're not plastic coated, tape them, okay? Work is supposed to be no more than 3 years old. I realize somebody can just pretend that's the case. That was one of our issues this time. And the person who entered some older work said, well, that everybody should have to put the date on their pieces. I said, no, everybody should be honest, and we should hope everybody's being honest. So this person said, fine, I'm never gonna put dates on my art again. I said, if you wanna be dishonest, I can't stop you. Okay, so it's an honor system. Work that has been previously shown at the government center is not eligible. Some of us forget that we've shown something. Please keep a spreadsheet or mark the backs or do something to remember, because once it's past that intake table and you have paid, no refunds, folks. Okay. We had someone try to turn in a piece of an oil painting that was still wet. No.
Carolyn got paint on her hands and she
Luckily, I
wasn't
only touched the
happy.
edges and didn't rest it against my clothing, but it needs to be dry, please. We'll turn you away for that. We may be able to add more pedestals for 3D work. I know we have a lot of people that would like to submit 3D work, but keep in mind that space, even if we get a couple more pedestals, it's going to be limited, and you have to reserve a spot ahead of time. The new novice category, we only had 2 entries, so we might try it one more time, but if there's not more interest, we're not going to do that category anymore. Last thing, I promise. I often hear suggestions. I always hear suggestions, and I always listen. That doesn't mean I'm always going to go with your suggestion. I'll just smile and go, great idea. But one of the suggestions I often hear is either we would like to separate. One in particular, one person has suggested more than once, they want to see landscape and seascape separated. Or somebody wants to see anything photographed that's been manipulated, separated from just point and shoot photos. I hate to put it that way, but we're pretty small. So if you really think you would like a separate category or a new category, you are more than welcome to come to me and sponsor the ribbons and the monetary awards for that new category. So if you really feel strongly enough, come and see me. I'll take your money. Okay. Anything else? I think we're good. Okay. I promised it wouldn't be too okay.
All right, Carolyn, look at that. You got an applause. Can you hear me? Yeah, you can hear me. Okay. Now I have to raise the microphone up here.
Sorry.
Okay, I'd also like to introduce Sherry, Sherry Lynn, but hang on just a second, okay? Because Sherry Lynn's going to tell us about her magic, but I wanted to do a prelim before it. Okay, and this one I'm just going to read because Linnell wrote it out, and I can't duplicate what Linnell wrote out. So I'm just going to read it, okay? Here you go. Helps if I put it right side up. Join us next Saturday, April 20th, to celebrate springtime at Burke Junction in Cameron Park, co-produced by The Stage at Burke Junction and Placerville Arts Association. See, do you like that? Co-produced. Placerville Arts Association is in there. And this, I'm digressing for just a second, but Donna Nelson is the one that planted this whole thing. She got this bug, and she went to Linnell, and oh my gosh, did Linnell take off with it. Okay, there will be events throughout the day, including a Super Pet Fest, Poetry Festival, and more. Join PAA members Sherry Lynn Morris, Donna McPherson, and Tony Conley Whiting to create a monarch, did I say that right, Tony? Okay, good. To create a monarch butterfly themed chalk mural. And that's what Sherry's going to show us the design about. And enjoy the work of 30 artists from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. The day's festivities, hold on, okay. The mural, enjoy the work of more than 30 artists. Okay, the artists are going to be there till 4. The day's festivities will run from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. For more information, visit stage@burke.com. Okay? I needed to do that, so now I want to bring Sherry up here. Come on up.
This was just, this is just my idea. It's a 7 by 14 wall, and I thought we could do a large butterfly that people could come and take their pictures in front, you know, because everybody likes that. And then we have the caterpillar, and this is all milkweed, because they're trying to promote milkweed growth in the area. And the sizing and the places might be different, because, I mean, who knows, it's changeable. And if we get a lot of response from people that want to do some chalk stuff, you know, even kids, they could do little butterflies in between stuff, you know. So it'll change.
Awesome, thank you.
Good work there. This is just a little out of order. What I'd like to do is just make a couple of quick more announcements, and then it's all about art, okay? We're going to tabulate the votes, and then we're going to have the artists come up and talk about their art. But just give me a couple of seconds here. Oh, give me 2 minutes. Art lunch. Art lunch, if you saw in the newsletter, it is going to be at the Gear Tooth Ale Works, which is at the corner of Green Valley Road and
Placerville Drive.
Placerville Drive. Okay, Placerville Drive in Green Valley, and that's going to be on Thursday, this coming Thursday, and it is at 12:30. Okay, it's a way for artists to get together and gossip. Oh, no, 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 no. Not gossip. Okay, and we handled the spring show. May speaker is going to be Joyce Campbell. Joyce Campbell does gourd work. Another thing that was in the newsletter is Randy Honorlaw is taking the helm for another art show at Sierra Vista Winery. And that'll be June 8th and 9th. And it's a beautiful winery. It's up in the hills, and you would be responsible for setting up your own booth and bringing your art. 2 days. If you want to sign up, get a hold of Randy Honorlaw, okay? Okay, and one last thing, and then we can do art. Sylvia and I are going to deliver our outreach check tomorrow to Otter Creek Elementary School in Volcanoville, which is outside of Georgetown. I mean, up and out. It's a school that goes from TK through 5th, and they've got 17 students. And they were hit with the mosquito fire, and they got a lot of destruction. I think it's a great place to put our money. I'm kind of putting the cart before the horse, because I just, you know, on a lark, I reached out to KCRA3, thinking that it would be a good community interest story for them. And I've heard back, which surprised me a lot. I still don't have an answer if they're going to be there. We are on their planner for tomorrow, and they won't know until tomorrow morning to see if they have the staff that can come up to Volcanoville. So, with that, let's go ahead. Have the votes been tabulated?
Yes, and so what we can do is have the people come up 1 through, I think it's 11, there could be more, but 1 through 11 in order, and show us their piece, and then I'll announce the winner.
Oh, okay, so we're gonna do the art first. One quickie, Sylvia reminded me, I forgot, Joyce Balsam, Joyce Bosson has passed, and there is a memorial lunch for her, April 28th, at the Placerville Shakespeare Club, and it's from 1 to 3. Sylvia printed up these pages, and they're here if you're interested in attending, okay? Okay, with that, Carolyn, you're back up again.
I know, I'm number one. I'm a number one. Just because I got here early. Let me. Oh, I know. Ooh, there we go. I bought this little guy, and it had lots of windows. So originally I was going to put all kinds of weird things in the windows. And then I saw that it said Shakespeare, or it was Shakespeare bookstore. So I thought, well, it looks like it says Shake. So I turned it into a little ice cream Danish shake shop. I found Barbie in a I think it was an AARP magazine actually, and put her in the window and cut a little dog out and put him here. Got some Danish. I kept William here because, you know, it's still Shakespeare. I could have done all kinds of other weird things to it, but you know, so many hours in a day.
Oh my God, is that a sawtooth hanger on the back?
Sure, but I wasn't entering this into a show.
Hopefully we don't have to all stick our tongue out.
And the only reason
Okay, the
we all
3D
went to
piece is gonna have
11
fun
now
getting up here. What?
is because Sherilyn's piece just wasn't gonna sit very well out in the middle. So we really only have 1 through 8, and then 9, excuse me, and then we skip to 11.
Okay.
Just FYI.
All right, thank you.
Okay, I bought a photo. It was a photo on a gallery wrap at the thrift store, and I just made it more colorful. I used acrylics, so.
I love the way you changed the background of that one. It just makes the whole thing pop. It's great.
Debbie just stepped up right there. Who's number 3? You guys know?
Who is number 3?
Is there a number 3?
There's 3, but there's still 2. So.
Who's
No.
number 2? They must have just taken their number and gone home.
Oh.
Were you number 2? Are you 4?
Okay.
Okay, here comes number 4.
Okay, just, you know, if you have a piece and you want to share it, jump in, okay? This was so organized, and we were going to do this in order, and it's okay.
If number 5
It's okay,
it's
it's
too hard
okay,
to
it's
move, we'll
okay.
just let her come up and introduce herself. Okay. But this is entry number 4 right here. And be sure and say your name for the camera too, because some of us don't know everybody.
Hi, I'm Jan Jones.
Hi, Jan Jones.
Here's the original one.
Yes.
And here's my interpretation.
And you blinged that baby out, didn't you?
I did.
And then quote the Raven Nevermore was not in the first one.
No. I was going to entitle it Caught My Eye. Because I can't remember what thrift store I got this at. I'm usually really good at remembering everything I ever bought in my whole life, but this time I think it was at Snowline in Folsom. And I found it, and it was so plain. You can see from this, it seemed like the original artist didn't finish it completely. Maybe they got bored or something, got sick. And so I thought it needs something to make the flowers more pretty. And so I was thinking about, embellishing it, and I thought, oh my gosh, ravens love shiny things. So I'd really love to have a raven in here going, I see something shiny. And then I thought it'd be fun to have wallpaper with birds. And then his friend is over there, he wants to be in too. So that's how it ended up.
Excellent. Excellent.
The broken one. The what you got here.
It's assemblage, she'll glue it. It's not, it's,
I have kind of a klutz, but what can I say? I'm gonna set this here, because I'm not quite sure how these, are you gonna be able to see those?
we can.
And then I'll show you, I'll put this in front of the camera. You all looked because you voted, but still, so.
See, it was individual pieces when she
Three
started.
separate pieces. Okay, Lauren, you're on.
Tell me your name.
Lori Huser.
Laurie Huser, all right, good.
So with the heart and actually the middle frame, I got those, I think, at hospice for $3.99 each. And they're actually Mikasa crystal. So I love that. And because I do a lot of work with glass, I took each individual piece of glass on there and tilted it, because there's one side that's not real pretty and the other side's colorful or reflective. So I sat there with each individual piece and put them around. This with the butterfly in the center is actually a temporary tattoo. So I put that on there and sealed that piece. The other one is actually a sticker I got from the dollar store, and it just seemed to go with that heart. This guy here was that lovely pink coral. Yes, for an aquarium. And I thought, oh, that's so disgusting, but it looks like a tree. So that's why I kind of call this Frog Hollow, because I put a frog at the bottom, put jade around the bottom. I always love bling, so anything reflective. So that's why the leaves are all on there. And of course the butterfly there too. So that's about it. Thank you. Thank you.
Who's number 6?
Six is, oh, is Mitzi. Mitzi.
She's also one that painted the hummingbird. She's also one that painted the hummingbird. Piece of tile. So several
So I got my painting at hospice.
Tell me your name for the camera, please.
Mitzi Schenke.
Thank you.
It was $5. And I had been saving the insides of these Keurig coffee pods for when my grandkids come. I thought we can certainly do something with that, string them on beads or something. So that's how I made my flowers.
Did you paint some of the pods?
I did.
Because I have never gotten a pink. I have never gotten a pink lid on my pods, and I wanted to know what brand that was because I needed those. Thank you. Number 7.
What do you want first one out of the picture here?
Okay, this thing started out as some kind of like party favor thing, it seemed like. Or, could you tell? I mean, that little piece of paper in there is kind of like talking about, oh, a dance troupe. That may be what it was. It was Act 1 and Act 2 of a dance troupe.
It's the ballet recycle.
Little ballet and little slippers and stuff. So
yeah, I mean, it was so weird. It's so stupid.
Yeah, it's weird. It was weird to start
Not that
with.
mine's any better, but it's just.
Well, no, much improved.
I bought this only for the frame.
Well, I don't know how someone could do that to their little baby's dance recital and give it to Goodwill.
Well, wait till you see. So then there's that. So I blinged it up, but the people are a friend's family that she doesn't know who they are.
Oh.
So, and I couldn't get over that gal in the back. They were together, more together, and I cut them up. But that gal in the back, she's pissed off at something. So I decided she's mad because the other gal got to wear the bling with the crown and all that stuff.
And the shoes too, she got the shoes.
Yeah, she
closer to
got
her.
everything.
Yeah, she got it all, and the man.
Well, I think he, in the real picture, he's the dad, yeah, and the crown person's the mom, and she's the daughter. She has, you can't tell because it's way back here, but she has the little skirt thing.
Oh, I see. And for anyone who doesn't know, this is Sue Wickersham.
Oh, yeah, sorry, that's big. Okay, that's it.
Thank you, Sue. Okay, I think we said we had no number 8. Who was number 9? Is there a number 8? Okay. No 10.
And then the last one will be, after this is 11.
Okay, so we have 8, 9, and 11 to go.
There you go.
Is that Dana's family?
Yes.
I thought so. Okay.
This is the case of the disappearing dogs, and the artist here is Carrie Repking.
Right. This is a dog, so I got this at Snowline for $4.99. And as with all my collages, it started out one way, dogs, and it ended up like this.
Doggone, where did those dogs go?
There's the dog's nose. And this whole shape was one of the dog's faces. I mean, part of the dog's face, and I saw a woman in it. And then this was another dog's thing, so I made a little kid. And then they needed to have a male in there, so. And, this is so silly. I made a bank out of the back. See this thing? Oh. So you can put money in.
You can hide your money from your burglars since your dogs aren't on board anymore. Okay, now we got number 9.
That's it, just roll right over. All right, another, Tony Conley Whiting, jewelry thing from Hospice for like $3.99. I have a heck of a lot of beads. I actually got these lovely crystals at a yard sale. And to me, it looked more like a fountain, especially with the 2 birds on it. That woman's got me into birds, my mom. So instead of having it be a trinket, it looked like a fountain. So I thought about crystals. So I ended up going with a lot of different things hanging there. And I'm missing some. I must have lost them during transport. So as I go home, I have to go look for them. So
how cool.
Anyway, so I took a jewelry tray and turned it into a fountain that sits in my front window and collects dust rather well.
And occasionally a little rainbow or two, I would imagine.
Oh yes, yeah. It's really interesting to find these guys. It's hard. They're hard to find now. They're getting more expensive.
Well, and this is kind of classic assemblage work. You know, you find something, you repurpose it with additional embellishments, and it becomes something more than what it was before. An earring stand. Yeah. Which of course you could still use it for that by replacing a few of the beads with your most precious earrings.
Or put stuff in.
Yeah, wonderful.
Or a bird feeder. Or
yeah, excellent, excellent.
Very blingy bird feeder. Look out for the blackbirds so they don't take it. Do you need help there? You got it? It's just awkward. Well, yeah. Okay. She doesn't do things halfway.
Okay, look at this. This is where this started.
This was the ugliest thing, and it was a friend of mine gave me 2 canvases. They must have ordered it online, and they didn't like it, so they gave it to me so that I could repurpose them to whatever.
Have they seen it yet, Sherry?
No, probably not. So this was the piece, and what I did was I took, these are cardboard shoe, yeah, they go inside the shoe boxes to hold the shoes to keep them in shape.
Use real shoes and
I know a lot of people did. Yeah, they thought they did. And then I had got some heavy rice paper from Lucia at a garage sale, and the gold paper from her also. And I did the fish, and then I used my glue gun to make the designs on them. And then blinged it up, of course, and enhanced the lanterns just to give it a interest on the edges. You know, it doesn't really have any, got like pearls and glass beads and rhinestones or whatever. So.
And for any of you that may not have seen our member show, this took first place in the collage and mixed media category.
Yeah.
Good work, Sherry Lynn. All right, and so we do have winners, and it is a tie. And I think that they're pretty good friends, so hopefully we won't see a fight in the back over who gets what. We have two prizes back there. We have an art box, slightly used, that's got some nice pencils and other sketching implements in it, and that's one of the prizes. That was donated by Patty Noble to our efforts here. And so that's one prize that's available. And then the other prize that's available, because I thought it was going to be a first and a second, so they're not quite equal, but a couple of small Winsor Newton canvases and some charcoal. All right, so those are your two options back there on the piano. And we're going to let Jan Jones and Sherry Lynn Morris fight it out. There we go, there we go. It's a battle. All right. There it is.
Thank you, everybody. What numbers are they? I don't know.
Oh, okay. It was number 4 and it was number 11.
And one last thing before we close. Donna Nelson, every time she comes, she brings a vase with flowers. And we always raffle it. Wait, I don't know if it's a
What number are you, Tony?
Oh, yeah.
But we always give the flowers. Thank you very much, Donna. You got a heart full of flowers. Thank you. And so, how we do this is, I checked, we have 40 sign-ups.
Wow.
40 sign-up people that actually came in. Cheeks to the chair is what Citibank called them when I worked at Citibank. No, an appointment is not a phone appointment, it's cheeks to the chair. Oh, anyway, okay, so 1 to 40, and let me think. Bill,
Yeah.
pick a number. 1 to 40.
8.
8. Oh. Did you see that you signed in as 8?
No.
No,
Sue, it's you. You are number 8.
You were right in front of me. I was number 9.
Oh, I thought I was number 2. Oh, I was number 2 on this list.
Yes, different list.
Apparently I didn't explain myself. You are number 8. You got the flowers. Thank you again, Donna. Okay, with that, if there's no questions, no complaints, let's wrap this up. Okay, bye, guys.
Oh, let's remind Marilyn, who owns that cat container back there that Bill Robinson gave me. Marilyn's trying to snatch that from me.